Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening for this first opening session in regards to Wintality. So you probably heard something, seen something online. That's the reason why you've decided to make this this time here with us today. So I want to first off say thank you for taking this time to either be here in person. Let's start over. I gotta put myself into place and remind myself that I got two different groups that's going to watch this. I got a person that's going to watch it online, and then so I'm just going to act like it's all online. That's probably what I need to do, right? How you doing? My name's Derek Butts, and today we are going to talk about a topic that is so near and dear to my heart. It's called Wintality. Before we jump into that topic, let me just tell you a little bit about me, and then we're going to get all into this topic. So I'm a father of 3 kids right now. 3 of them, they all have a special feel to me. So let's just start off. The oldest just finished at UTA. He ran track. He got a track scholarship. He left Mansfield Lake Ridge, went to University of Houston, and then he transferred during the pandemic and came to UTA and finished with a communications degree. And guess what? He's also getting ready to get his real estate license. My middle child, he's a baseball player. He loves playing some baseball. He's right now being recruited. He's getting ready to go into his senior year, and he's being recruited to play baseball. My youngest, she's the sports broadcaster. She knows all about the backstories of everybody when it comes to the draft. And then she also cheers for probably the best high school in the state of Texas. Now, I will not name it because I don't want you to not listen to the rest of our time together, but she's the cheerleader, and so I am so excited about my 3 kids. And then my wife, she's our supporter. She cheers us all on. She helps. She does things. She's an instructional coach in Arlington as well. Well, that's enough about us. Now let's jump into about you. You probably saw an ad. You probably clicked on a link, and the reason why you're here is because you're a parent. And as you being a parent, you've got a high school athlete. Maybe they play soccer, baseball, football, golf, volleyball. Doesn't matter the sport, but I do know the ultimate goal is for us to win. So today we're going to talk about a topic called Wintality. So as we jump in, I first don't want to just give a shout out to our sponsors. Results Roofing, they provided us with this camera crew. That's how you're listening to this, because of their camera crew that came alongside of us to film this day. And then Fieldhouse Realty. Man, let me tell you, I can't talk about them enough. They provided us the building. They provided some people to come into the room to be here with us at 2 different locations. They're a real estate group that's all about your family is their focus. They're going to make things happen for you and for me. Matter of fact, they just sold my house. And I'm telling you, they know what they're doing. They're the best in the business. If you ever need anything around real estate, you need to reach out to them. Need anything around roofing, you got to reach out to my guys at Results Roofing. Let's jump right in. 8 million high school athletes are out here across the country. 8 million. That's a lot of people. But did you know that only 560,000 of those will receive a scholarship? 8 million athletes, but only 560,000 of those athletes will receive a scholarship. That means somebody's going to pay for them to play. Now, only 7%, that's 7% of high school athletes will play sports in college. Now check this next stat out. The average family pays $1,400 per year on sports. Now that doesn't include the traveling. That doesn't include the camps. It doesn't include the equipment because you gotta have the right drip. And it doesn't include personal training. Now I wish that number was true, because that would mean I have a savings. We pay way more than that, right? Because I had a track one, I had a kid playing baseball, and then I got a daughter that cheers. But the average family spending $1,400 a year, and the whole reason why you're making this investment is because you want to see your child succeed in their sport. Now I heard somebody say this years ago. They told their athlete, they said, listen, I love coming to watch you play. But when I take the time out of my schedule to come watch you play, I don't want to show up and see you sitting on that bench. He said, I come in order to see you play. So when I'm there, I want to make sure that you get on the field, which means there's a lot of other work you're going to have to do, because I don't want to make this investment for you just to be a bench warmer. Now, guess what? We know everybody can't just always start, but we do know that we make this investment because we want our kids to go to the next level. Now, there's a gentleman out here named Grant Cardone. He says this. He says, thinking big takes the same amount of effort as thinking small. So we know that the end goal for most of you that are listening in is that you have a student athlete that wants to play on the next level. That was me too. You know, in 1996, I was graduating from Arlington Martin, and my whole desire was to play ball on the next level. Now, I got to tell you about the summer of 95 because it sets up 96. So in 1995, I was a junior. I was rated as the top 60 in the state of Texas in basketball. And then I went to Waco, Baylor, and there was 60 young men that were selected to go to Baylor. Now, coming from Martin, in my sophomore year, I was the newcomer of the year. My junior year, I was the defensive player of the year. So I thought that I really knew what I was doing when it came to playing some basketball. I get around these guys though here in Baylor when I show up. We all lace up our shoes the same. We all get our jerseys and we get onto the court. At that moment, I realized you're not as good as they've been telling you back at home. And when that hit me, I had one or two things that was getting ready to take place. One, I was going to go home and I was going to quit. Or two, I was going to go home and I was going to get better. Well, for me, it was, let's go home and get better. And the reason for the get better was because I did not want for my career to end right there. So I ended up getting better. I put in the work, and I had scholarship opportunities to go play ball. I accepted a scholarship to go to Air Force Academy, and I went there for, let me just tell you, 1 semester. That's it, 1 semester. The reason for it was the regimen. The regimen at the Air Force Academy was you wake up at 4, you go do the PTs. Then you leave there and you go to basketball practice. Then you leave there and you go do your classwork. After that, you go back to basketball practice. And in the course of my whole freshman season, guess what? You couldn't talk to any girls. Now you tell that to the average 18, 19-year-old that this is going to be their life. I decided, let's check out. Let's go back home and let's figure out something else. My point is, I understand what it is to break that level and to play on the next level, get opportunities to go. It's a lot of work, y'all. It's a lot of work for that to happen. And in the course of it, though, it's also a great return. Grant Cardone says thinking big or thinking small takes the same effort. So keep the goal in mind, but let's make sure that we put in the work that's necessary. So here, if you haven't downloaded this yet, make sure you download the notes. Make sure you print them off, because I want to make sure that you get the most of our time together. So here's going to be a couple of things that I'm going to just challenge you on. Number one, you need to understand these definitions. The first term that you just have to understand is the term called principle. A principle is a transferable truth that works for whoever works it. No matter where you are, what sport you play, what you're doing, a principle, it will work. It's like gravity. I mean, throw it up, it's coming down. That's a principle. There's going to be principles we're going to talk about today. Number two is a quote. I call the quote a statement that's easy to remember that reinforces the principle. Didn't I give y'all one a second ago? I thought I did. I'll tell you again. Thinking big and thinking small takes the same effort. That's a quote. Third thing is takeaway. This is the lesson that needs to be implemented in order to gain the result that you want. Now, you can hear it and know it, but if you do not act upon it, you're going to miss out, which leads me to number four. The fourth term you got to catch is MIIA. That's massive, immediate, imperfect action. There's certain things that you're going to have to do, and you have to do it right now, and you're not going to be perfect, but done beats perfect. I'll say it again. Done beats perfect. There may be a comma inside of this download you have that I missed. Maybe a period, maybe misspelled a word, but I promise you this much, I can always perfect that which I started, while the person that needs to make it perfect sometimes doesn't even start. Number 5, these are aha moments. An aha moment is when you hear something that registers for you. I need you to just hit the pause button, write it down so that you don't miss your opportunity for growth. So aha moment, it's that, ooh, that's for me, that's for my kid. We got to do that right now, and we got to implement it. Then the 6th thing is just a phrase called the DGCP method, and it's something that I believe is going to just attach on, and it's going to help you win. All right, so that's the 6 things you need. So let's jump into the 4 principles of Wintality. I'll tell you a couple stories, and then guess what? You'll join the group, and we'll keep on the development side. So I want to give you the 4 principles up front because I want you to have them, and then we'll dive into these principles today. Number 1, the first principle is you must develop a positive and proper perspective. Now I'm going to slow down because some of you are taking notes. The first principle of Wintality is that you have to develop a positive and proper perspective. Why both? Positive because there's going to be enough negative things that take place for you, that take place against you. Proper because if you do not tell yourself the truth, you will not get better. Y'all remember when I told you that when I was a junior and I went down there, I had to tell myself the truth, proper perspective. Because if I lied to myself, I would have stayed on the course that I was on, and I would not have gotten better. So I want you to know principle 1 is you must develop a positive and proper perspective. Number 2, the second principle of Wintality is that you got to practice with purpose. You got to practice with purpose. Now there's a term called the Pareto principle in business. I take the same principle from the Pareto principle of business and I move it over here into sports. And if you'll understand this principle and then start executing here, it's going to revolutionize your performance. It's going to cause you to go to the next level. Now I see it happen all the time. I watch kids go to the gym. I watch them go to the batting cage. I watch them get around the sand pits in their volleyball. And they're always practicing something that really is not the thing that they should be on. If you got a good coach, your coach has already told you what you do well and then what you need to improve on. So here's the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle says that 20% of your effort yields you 80% of return. I'll say it again. 20% of your effort will yield you 80% of your return. Let me use my middle child to give you a great example of this. So his sophomore year in high school, he was on JV and he played third base. Now, I did not like him moving from the outfield to playing third base, but he wanted to play third base because somehow he just thought he was a third baseman. So he's here playing third base. He starts on JV playing third base. Now, there's a couple of people they put at third base if you're a baseball fan. One is they put the big fat kid there because he don't have to really do a lot of moving, but he's a real good hitter. So they put that guy there. It's just like a corner spot. Hey, if a ball gets hit hard to you, you ain't got no catcher's gear, but you're fat enough that it's not going to hurt you. So just take it like a man. They'll put that guy right there, okay? Then the next kid they put at third base is another fat guy that can't move either. So here it is. I got one of the fastest kids that plays baseball, and he's playing third base. And I keep telling him, you are wasting your talent at third base. Oh no, I want to play third base. So he's playing third base. He plays third base on JV, plays the entire season. We get to the end of the season, and I say, Torrin, I got a question for you. Do you want to play JV again as a junior, or do you want to play varsity as a junior? Well, anybody knows the answer. I want to play varsity. Okay, great. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch positions in order for you to leave third, and we're going to get you back in a position where your talent can be used in the outfield. Pareto principle, 20% of your efforts will yield you 80% of your return. If I would just highlight his strengths, his running, his ability, his length, he's 6'3", 6'4". If I'll highlight that, it's going to cause him to have greater return in his life. So we switch positions. He plays the entire summer in the outfield. He comes to his junior season. Guess what? He doesn't go to JV. He goes to varsity, and he starts every game on varsity in the outfield. Why? Because we used the Pareto principle. We worked all summer in the 20%, which gives him 80% return, versus focusing all of our time in a place that will not yield us the results that we want. Practice with purpose. Practice with intent. You got to know the roster. You got to know what your child, what your athlete does well. And we now need to highlight those areas, because that is going to be the thing that the scout sees. That's going to be the thing their coach sees. That's going to be the thing that gets them to that next place. It's all going to be in our practice and in our regimen. Now, I'm going to give you a lot more on that later on in one of our other lessons. Number 3, first principle is what? Is develop a positive and proper perspective. Number 2 is that we have to practice with purpose. Number 3 is that we have to play with passion. Yeah, you got to play with passion. One of the things that's when I was coaching a select basketball team that I just could not stand, I couldn't stand when I had kids come out to play and it looked like they didn't want to be there. Man, I tell you something, that was a kid that I didn't want to be on the court. I want to feel your energy. Can't you tell that I'm excited about teaching this lesson? I want to feel your passion. I want to know that you're excited about what you do. See, scouts are seeing that they're looking for your attitude, not just your skill set. They're also seeing what type of teammate are you. So I want you to understand that this is a sport and you should be excited about it. You should have fun. There should be a smile on your face. You should be the first onto the court. You should be the first onto the field. You should be the first one there. You should be the last one leaving, because your passion should just exude right off of you. Number 3, you got to play with passion. You don't want to do it? Tell your parents. Remember, $1,400 a year they're spending on you. So if they're going to spend the money, let's make sure that, guess what, you want to be there. Okay, My daughter, 5 years of age, she got hit in the nose in soccer. And guess what? She didn't want to go to soccer no more. But you know what? We finished the season. But at that point, I'm not going to force her to go to soccer, and she doesn't want to go to soccer. That wasn't where her passion was. Now I can't keep her off the cheer. I can't keep her off the court. I can't keep her off of her phone looking up these athletes because of her passion. Where your passion is, there ought to be energy and excitement there. Now the 4th principle, I saved it for last. I probably should have put it number 1, but the 4th principle is really the reason why we have Wintality. And that principle is that we pocket the principles of life while playing our sport. See, it said that at the age of 14, 40% of high school students start to experience some form of mental stress or depression. And as I kept doing research in this area, the pressure that many of our student athletes are under is because they don't have a big picture concept of life. They're playing their sport, they're doing their deal, but what happens when they're not getting the result that they desire in that area? It's starting to affect their mind. This is where Wintality was birthed from. Wintality was birthed because I watched a track star in high school get recruited by Carl Lewis, go run and get second place in the conference at University of Houston, get injured, the pandemic hits, has to come home, and all of a sudden he lost his sense of identity, lost his sense of destiny, lost his sense of purpose, because everything was attached to the sport, but he did not extract the principles from the sport. Yeah, my oldest. Wintality was birthed because I saw him focus on ability, but he did not work on mentality. So for 2 years, we had been building this muscle back to him because we understood that the same principles he used to get the scholarship would be the same principles he uses to succeed in life. So the point number 4 is you got to pocket the principles of life while playing your sport. It's bigger than the sport. Because for the most of us, guess what? We're going to become old men with guts that can rehearse and tell stories of our yesterday. But most of us don't make it. Why? 7% get the college scholarship. Only 2% go to the next level and play in the NBA or the Major League Baseball or in the professional soccer arena. Which means that more of us are going to do something else. And because of that, we need to have the principles that it's going to cause us to win at life. So hopefully you got all the principles down, right? You got the principles listed. So the last thing I want to do with us on this opening lesson today is I want the players, if you're here as a parent watching this, I need you to go download this, screenshot this, do whatever you got to do, because I need the players to go and look at this, right? So listen to this, players. Repetition is the foundation for mastery. What are we repeating? See, some people, some players are repeating what it takes to be a loser, and that's why we're losing. And some of us are repeating what it takes to win, and that's why we're winning. Repetition is the foundation for mastery. I want you to commit to this player's page. I want your player, your athlete, to commit to this player's page. This simply is some simple things, but I want them to commit to this. Number 1, be on time. Be on time to the sport. Be on time to your practice. Be on time to the things that you're called to be on time for, right? Be on time. Second thing is be a good teammate. Everybody will appreciate a good teammate. What we do not like is a superstar that's not super to be around. So be a good teammate. Don't matter how good you are, right? Be a good teammate. High five somebody, encourage somebody, tell them good job. You know, be there to lift them up. Third thing is be prepared for your role. Be a student of the game. Know the ins and outs. Know what you need to do. Know how you're supposed to do it. Know the role you need to play. And be willing to let the team come before the I, the individual. So be prepared for your role. Number 4, be present and passionate. Right? We talked about passion. Be present and passionate. Yeah, don't live in your yesterday. Yogi Berra said, yesterday's home runs will not win today's games. So be present. I mean, I get it. You went 4 for 4. I get it that you scored 20 points the other day. I get it. You had 7 spikes. I get it that you had 2 birdies. I get it. But what are you doing today? Be present, right? Bring that same energy. Approach every game like it's your first, but also approach it like it's your last. When you do, it causes you to leave it all on the court, on the field, on the course. And then the last thing I want you to commit to is be memorable. Man, let's make some memories. man, when I really, I could sit here and just tell stories after story about my sports time, because those are those memories that we had. Now, parents, that's for your athlete, but I got one for you too. I got one for you too. You ready, parents? All right, here we go. Here's your practice session, parents. Number one, parents, stay in your lane. You are not the coach, you are the parent. Let the coach be the coach. Let the math teacher be the math teacher. Do you realize that the only really place that the parents want to show up and show out is when it comes to sports? I don't see them coming in there telling us how to do algebra. I don't see them telling us how to do some Spanish. I only see it when it comes to them on the field. How come you ain't put Johnny in? Well, maybe because Johnny ain't supposed to be in the game. That's the reason why Johnny's not in. But so parents, stay in your lane. Let the coach be the coach. Now, if you want to coach so bad, right? You want to coach so bad, I promise you, go to the YMCA, go sign it up, go do your little background check, and get you some 8 kids that don't know how to play, and let me see, get them together, okay? So stay in your lane, though. So if you're going to be the parent, man, be the parent. Number 2, celebrate your athlete. Oh my gosh, celebrate your athlete, right? The worst place for most kids is the ride home. It's the ride home. It's the ride home. Because that's normally the place that we remind them of all the things that they didn't do. Don't you know that your child wanted to do better on the field? They did. They did not want to make those mistakes. So make sure that we are protecting them, right? Remember, we talked about mental health here. So celebrate your athlete. Find the wins. You can find the wins, in the same token, challenge your winner, right? Number 3. Oh my goodness, I love this one. Invest in what your athlete needs, not in their wants. I tell this to Torrin all the time. Oh my goodness, he always is talking about another piece of drip that he wants. Oh, I gotta have this now, and I gotta have this. I said, boy, you don't need that. You need to get out there and keep your eye on the ball and hit it. That's what you need to do. So let's invest in what you need. Do we need to get your eyes checked? Right? You're missing the ball too much. So let's invest in what you need, not just in what you want. Now, at the same token, I hear Deion saying this, man, when I look good, I feel good. When I feel good, I play good. When I play good, they gonna pay me good. I hear it. I hear you, Deion. Thank you, Coach Brown. Appreciate you. Right? All right. So invest in what your athlete needs, not just in their wants. Number 4. Watch this. Ask questions that challenge their comfort zone. Remember, we're trying to maximize your child. We're trying to maximize your athlete. We got to get them out of their comfort zone, and we got to get them in that place where they can fail, because in the failure is where there's their growth. Which leads me to the next one, and that is create a space for failing forward. I want to create an environment where it is okay to fail, and when you create that kind of space, it'll cause them to keep stretching and not move back. When I'm not allowed to fail, I'm only going to do the things that I do well. But when I'm allowed to fail, I'm going to try some new things. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go to a different tournament. I'm going to go to a different showcase. I'm going to get around the coach. I'm going to do that, which is going to ultimately put you in position of what you want. The next one is have patience through the process. They're still learning. They're still developing. Yes, they're still learning. They're still developing. That's why I'm talking slower, because I want you to have patience through the process, parents. And then the last one is just real simple. Remember to have fun. It's a sport. It's a sport. So give yourself a grade on that, right? Don't forget, the scoreboard tells the score. So are you winning or losing? All right? So you probably have some questions right now, and you probably have some things that you want us to answer. And I know you're saying, well, you're not here live with me, so how are you going to answer these questions? Well, I've provided a forum for you. I've provided an opportunity for you. I have a free group that I want you to join. If this information today, you say, you know what, man, okay, I like this. I think my kid can get some things out of this. This is just the opening lesson, because we dive deep into a lot of these areas. But I got a free group. It's called the 7% Zone, right? It's called the 7% Zone. The 7% Zone is the place for us as parents to come together where we will dialogue one with another. I'll give you lessons to be able to work with your athlete so that you will be able to keep them moving in the direction they want to go. And all of the lessons will always surround one of the 4 principles of Wintality. We're either going to give you a principle that they need to pick up on, we're going to help you with their practice, we're going to help you with their playing with passion, or we're going to help you develop that positive and proper perspective. So I want you to join that group. There's probably a link somewhere here. It's below, it's above us, it's somewhere right around. All you gotta do is click that link and it'll just take you right to the 7% zone. And that zone is a special place that's just for us. So let me give you a couple quotes as we get out of here. Number 1, pit stops are resting places, not final destinations. So wherever you guys are in your journey of developing your athlete, if you're at a pit stop, just know it's not over yet, right? It's not over yet. One of the things my wife always would say when we were younger, she said, well, this kid's just so much better than our kid right now. I said, yes, that's okay. Just let them continue on. They're gonna catch each other one day. And now as they're in high school, some of those kids that were the superstars at 12, they don't even play today. So don't get caught up in your resting place because it's not your final destination. The next thing I want to tell you is insanity and destiny don't go together, right? Insanity and destiny, they don't go together. So I don't need you to do the same thing you've always done. You just do the same thing you've always done and you expect to have a different outcome. So that's the reason why we provided this space so that we can do things that are principle-based, cause us to move forward. And then if you've ever listened to me speak before anywhere else, you're going to tell me. And let me tell you what I'm going to end with all the time, is no matter your age or stage, your race or place, whatever you do, I want you to know you can win. Now we got some merchandise because some of you said, man, I like this Wintality look. So we got some merchandise. You'll have an opportunity to jump in and get some of that. You know, here's your zone right here. I told you it was here. The 7% zone. Get you a scanner, do something, scan that, it'll take you right to the group. I told you it was right there for you. All right, again, my name's Derek Butts. The Wintality. It's the combination of having good ability with mentality. If we put those things together, it will produce Wintality. You have what it takes. Now we just got to continue to work it out, and we'll see you at the next level. So for most of you, I'll see you in the 7% zone. For the others of you, thank you for taking the time to listen to this lesson on Wintality, and we'll see you later.